On-the-scene coverage of ACC 2015 is supported by Effient.
I'm Peter Block for On the Scene in San Diego at ACC 2015. Standing next to me is Derek Hausenloy from London. And we're talking about preconditioning. You know, I must say, Derek, preconditioning has been one of those magic things that I could never quite really believe. But you've done a new trial, and the trial is interesting. So tell me what your trial is, the Errica trial, and what you wanted to do and what you showed.
Okay, several previous studies have shown that remote ischemic conditioning can actually protect the heart from ischemia reperfusion injury in patients undergoing cardiac bypass surgery. But whether it can actually improve long-term outcomes was unknown, and this is what we investigated in the Errica trial.
Okay, so Errica was just cardiac surgical patients. I think that's an important distinction.
Yes, this was in a setting of patients undergoing cardiac surgery, CABG plus or minus valve surgery, that's right.
Okay, so what kind of preconditioning very quickly did you do?
We performed remote ischemic conditioning using a standard blood pressure cuff placed on the arm to elicit ischemia reperfusion in the arm to protect the heart and other organs during surgery.
So it was during surgery repetitively?
It was actually undertaken prior to surgery, after anesthetic induction, but prior to surgical incision.
Okay, so there they are, they're all preconditioned, and then they have their operation. And then what did you look at for outcomes?
Yeah, our primary endpoint was 1 year outcomes of a combined primary endpoint of cardiovascular death, revascularization, myocardial infarction, and stroke.
Okay, so I've cheated and I've looked at the data, so I know that you randomized these patients. We forgot to say that. So this is truly a good randomized trial.
Yes, it was a randomized controlled trial of 1,612 patients through 29 cardiac centers in the UK, and patients were randomized to active RIC, or remote ischemic conditioning, or a sham control.
Okay. Outcomes were?
The primary endpoint was cardiovascular death, myocardial infarction, stroke, and revascularization.
So, combined outcome, and now we come to the hard part. What'd you find?
Yes. We found that there was actually no effect of remote ischemic conditioning on the primary endpoint. In control, 28% of the patients experienced the primary event rate, and in RIC, 27% of the patients. So there was no effect at all.
Okay, so a negative trial. So, Derek, tell me, preconditioning has always been a little magic, hasn't it? I mean, in all fairness. And here's a trial that was well done and does not show any differences. Do you think preconditioning is dead for coronary artery bypass graft surgical patients?
I think that's the important point. The take-home message is that remote ischemic conditioning does not improve outcomes in the setting of cardiac bypass surgery. However, as we know, our patients experience ischemia reperfusion in many other settings, including patients presenting with STEMI undergoing primary angioplasty. So we hope to undertake a study looking at outcomes of the effect of RIC in this patient group.
Okay, so Errica seems to have killed preconditioning for CABG patients, but like Venus on the half shell or Lazarus, it has risen again and will probably be looked at hard again for other trials.
Yes, we hope so.
Thank you very much for being here, Derek.
Thank you, Peter.